Got one right.
Welcome to the start of the round of 8. I'm Alex Hayden. This is Las Vegas, and you can bet you'll see some gambles from our 8 playoff drivers in tonight's event. With 2 races after tonight and the short track wild card of Martinsville, who will roll the dice and try to lock themselves in. Set to go. The pre-race festivities have finished, so let's get the South Point 400 started.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and tonight we start the round of 8 for NASCAR 22 on the channel. Welcome. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content as we get into tonight's full race realistic live stream coverage. But today it is on the video game side of things, though we are not that far away from the start of the 2023 NASCAR season, as this weekend on Sunday evening at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will have our first live commentary stream of the year for the NASCAR season as the NASCAR Cup Series heads to Los Angeles, California to the LA Clash at the LA Coliseum once again. It's going to be a lot of fun. Again, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard start time for that one is when the heat races take place, followed by the LCQ. Then there's probably going to be about a half hour to an hour break between that and the main event. We'll have 2 separate streams that day. We'll do the heat races and the LCQ in the first stream, and then we'll take that roughly hour break before the main event, come back at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for that. If for some reason the LCQ obviously runs long and runs into that, then we'll just end up having one long stream, but as of right now, we are planning on 2. But for today, we've got some business. We'll see if we can get Kevin Harvick into the Championship 4, as a win will guarantee ourselves a spot. We qualified in the 21st place position, so starting mid-pack in this one, we do have stability help on expert difficulty as usual, and we'll see if Harvick can get that win today. Going to try to go for a lot of stage points, obviously, as well. We do have an 80-point lead over the cushion with 97 playoff points on the season so far. Won 2 races in the last round, and 3 of the first 6 playoff races have been won by Kevin Harvick, giving him 12 total wins on the year, 22 stage wins, and a regular season championship. That's where all those playoff points have came from so far on the campaign. But we'll see if we can get any more today and lock ourselves in. We'll take a look at the starting lineup at the front of the field here for this one. Austin Cindric, the rookie who had made it to the round of 8 of the playoffs, will be on the pole alongside fellow playoff driver Christopher Bell. Bell is 14 points to the good to start the round. Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson will line up in row 2. Elliott still racing for a championship. He also starts above the cutoff line, only 6 points to the good, and Larson still looking to finish as high as 5th of the point standings. He was eliminated back in that round of 16 after the Bristol night race. Joey Logano and Tyler Reddick will be in row 3. Logano still competing for a championship. He'll start off tied for the first driver below the cutoff line. 5 points to the negative is where he'll start this round. Tyler Reddick was just booted in the round of 12. Chase Briscoe got his first career win at the Roval last week, but was a non-playoff driver in doing so. He's the first and only non-playoff driver to win one of the first 6 playoff races this year. And Denny Hamlin, who missed the full 16-man playoff field as well, still looking for his first win of the season. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and Austin Dillon will round out the top 10 in row number 5. Other playoff drivers starting outside the top 10 today would be William Byron in 11th. Also alongside with Logano, 5 points below the cutoff line. Mark Truex Jr. comes into this race the first driver above the cutoff line at plus 5 points. He'll be starting in 13th. Ross Chastain will be starting in the 15th place position today, as he is sitting well below the cutoff line as well. In fact, 10 points to the negative for himself to start this round. And the driver who is furthest below the cutoff line to start the round is Cindric. Again, he is 21 points below, but starting on the pole, he has a chance to try to cut into that deficit immediately here in Stage 1. The South Point Casino 400 at Las Vegas about to take shape. Mark DeMars, Michael Turner, Patrick Shadley, Billy Kramer, Santiago Kidd, and others, welcome into the stream. Thank you. Took a little bit of a vacation this weekend. I am back, though. We will have NASCAR 22 tonight, Throwback Thursday tomorrow, NASCAR 22 on Friday and Saturday, followed by, of course, the first live commentary stream of the year on Sunday with the Busch Clash at the LA Coliseum. It's a big week on the channel to get things started this year. Green flag is in the air And we're about to find out if somebody will lock themselves into the round of 4, the championship 4, on this NASCAR 22 season. Harvick expecting some checkups going into turn 3. I remember that from our first first Vegas race earlier this year. Harvick going to the outside 3 wide to make that pass on Ty Dillon. He's going to make some more passes in the tri-oval. Going to have to be very careful here. Try not to get squeezed into the wall. 3 wide with Justin Haley. Eric Almirola down to the bottom. One car slides sideways into turn 1. That was Michael McDowell. He'll boot one car to the outside. That's Ross Chastain, who's above him. Big single file line right now. Harvick going to the top 3 wide again. Chastain had to lift way up out of the gas with the 41 of Custer there. Harvick has to get out of the gas to keep it off the walls. He got tight in the middle of the corner. Haley will slide around him. Harvick back right where he started in 21st after 2 laps. Wade Selinsky, Corey Freed also welcome into the stream.
1 left.
I will talk about that. My experience this weekend for sure in a little bit. We'll try to get a little further into this race first. Remember, I got to knock the cobwebs off with the commentary skills, not only because it's been a week, but because we have some real races to commentate starting this weekend. So I don't want to start off too rusty this year. I want to start off fresh and hopefully better than ever. Kenneth Clark also welcome into the stream. Earl Arnold Jr., welcome. Doing great. I had a lot of fun on Saturday. I would definitely cover that.
Got 1 left. Got 1 left. Clear, clear, clear.
No, I will not be doing anything with the Clash on Saturday night. I don't plan on doing any sort of commentary for practice or qualifying this year, but I will end up doing commentary for Xfinity and truck races as well as NASCAR Cup Series races this year, all throughout the season. So if I'm not at the track for that race weekend, then you guys will be getting 2 to 3 live commentary streams a week for the most part. Well, except for this weekend, obviously it's just going to be 1 because Cup Series is all by themselves. But technically it's 2 streams, considering the fact that it's on the same day with the 2 races there. So we'll be working like a dog this summer, trying to grow the commentary skills, grow the channel, and we're going to have a lot of fun watching some racing this year on the channel for sure. Can't wait. Hit into the wall. Off of turn 4 there for Kevin Harvick. That slows him down a bit. Remember, this Vegas playoff race used to be in the nighttime, but now it is in the daytime as of 2022, so we shouldn't have to worry about a lights glitch today, although we don't know that for sure. Harvick with the hard charge into turns 3 and 4 to the outside of the 31 car. Justin Haley trying to make a pass for position.
Clear all around. Clear all around. Stay right. Stay right.
Haley and Harvick still side by side on the front stretch. Down into turn 1, and Harvick should complete the pass. He's a little better in turns 3 and 4, especially getting into 3, and Haley's actually going to be able to get back around Harvick. Harvick mired right where he qualified in that 21st place position right now in the early going.
Clear all around. Clear all around.
Just enough room off of turn 4. A little bit better of a run this time into the trial. But it looked like Haley was going to go up to try to side draft on that left rear corner panel of Harvick's race car. Couldn't quite do it. Harvick with a slide job into 1 and 2 to get by Custer down on the bottom. He had a big run off that outside lane off turn 4 that helped him make the pass into 1 and 2. And he's up to 19. Stage points, again, are awarded for the top 10. A lot of NASCAR news today as well. No stage breaks during the road course races in NASCAR this season. The Xfinity and the Truck Series, there will still be stage cautions only on the standalone events, like Mid-Ohio. I think the Truck Series is going back there again this year, so like that race will have stage caution still. Portland would have a stage caution for the Xfinity Series, but I think that Road America too. I guess that's a standalone now that the Cup Series isn't going there. But other than that, all the truck and Xfinity races will have no stage cautions, and then obviously the Cup Series will not have any stage cautions during the road courses. Hopefully, we see this for all races. But I do think it's a good idea to do just the road courses first, just so we see how it looks. I'm curious to see if guys are still going to sacrifice stage points. That's the only thing. It does add more strategy into it, I do believe, whether they pit or not before the end of the stage, because now it stays under green, so it's going to cost you more. Especially if you're not close enough to the lead, you might end up going a lap down anyway. But the problem is if we still see guys sacrificing stage points depending on how the stages are split apart on the fuel run, it's gonna be, it still might be a little shady, and if we still have that issue without the stage cautions, honestly, I could see them bringing the stage cautions back at that point. Because then that kind of hurts, you know, NASCAR from a advertisement standpoint, because we're going to be seeing more ads during green flag action. Might as well throw ads during caution breaks if they're going to pit before the stage ends anyway, whether they get a caution or not. That's the only thing with road courses, because the track's so big, you still might be able to get away with it. But again, it's going to depend on the actual fuel run, so each track's going to be different in that retrospect. It's not necessarily going to be all road courses are going to be like that. Like some we may have that issue still, like Coda, which is much bigger road course. But some of the shorter road courses, like a Watkins Glen or Sonoma, maybe we won't have those issues. Ross Chastain just about spun out. He clipped the apron going down into turn 1. Seen a few cars get sideways, but nobody has spun yet as we're still caution free through 14 laps. And the Hail Melon ban, yep. I kind of figured NASCAR was going to do that. I think that was the right move with that. I talked about it in great detail at the end of the year last year. This is kind of what I wanted. I think a time penalty is the perfect kind of penalty for it, because I feel like if you were to... You couldn't black flag somebody for something like that. Like, you'd hate to take away if somebody tried to make that kind of a pass on the last lap. You dock them a lap or something, and they go from finishing like 7th to finishing 24th because they were last time the lead lap. It cost them a lot of points. But I feel like with the time penalty, it's going to be different at every track. I don't know exactly. I didn't read into the detail of what the time penalty is. Like, is it 5 seconds? Is it 10 seconds? Is it just based off of how big the track is? So if it's like Martinsville where it's like 20 seconds to get around there, is it going to be like a 3-second penalty? I have no clue. But essentially, it seems to me like it's going to be stiff enough that drivers aren't going to end up doing that. But for safety reasons, I think it's a good call for NASCAR. Harvick's car is slowly getting tighter and tighter and tighter over the course of this run in the early going. Eric Jones keeps hounding this 4 car of Kevin Harvick right now, but he's not able to really make a move on him yet. Harvick can hold his own through turns 3 and 4. It's just 1 and 2. He's not able to quite keep up. He actually loses a little bit of time with the cars ahead of him, and the cars behind him get a much bigger run at him. A lot better through 1 and 2 this time. Working the bottom all the way around the corner. Christopher Jimenez, thanks for tuning in. I guess the lights glitch could happen. It's not impossible, you're right. It shouldn't happen. This isn't a night race. Guess we'll just have to wait and see. You would think an 80-point cushion is going to be a big enough cushion that could get Harvick into the championship 4, but no cushion is big enough, especially on this game. We saw at the Roval how quickly things can go backwards. After we won Stage 1, we immediately had multiple glitches at the beginning of Stage 2, which ended up falling Kevin Harvick multiple laps off the lead, and ended up with a last place finish and a DNF in that race as a result in Stage 2. and a last place finish. He was able to at least collect one playoff point, but that was it. Eric Jones going to get by Kevin Harvick. Suarez couldn't get as big of a run off turn 2 as he couldn't quite clear Kevin Harvick. Harvick closing in on the 43 of Jones. Harvick getting really tight out of the gas and into the wall still. Off the exit of turn 4. Harvick's car's really got to be struggling right now at this point in the run. Should be just a one-stop first stage. Ideally, Kevin Harvick would like the short pit if he gets the choice. Definitely going to have to make a wedge adjustment of some sort to try to help loosen the car up. We're going to take a round of wedge out of the car during this first pit stop of the day. Try to help free it up as much as you possibly can. Take a shortcut into the tri-oval this time as well. Definitely seems like Harvick can hold his own right about where he qualified for the first 10 to 15 laps, and then just slowly starts to fade as the car gets tighter and tighter and tighter. This is an issue we've seen at most of these ovals and intermediate tracks especially. Not as much on the short track side of things, but the intermediate tracks, Darlington-sized tracks on up, the car gets very tight with stability help, but without stability help, if you make a little bit of contact with another car, you're going around. And it's not that I don't trust myself in my driving line, because I don't run with stability help in any other game. The problem is with the AI in this game, because we've seen drivers chop off the apron a bunch already into turn 1. All it takes is them doing that and slamming into your door, even though you have the positioning on them going into turn 1 anyway, and around we go. So that's why we have stability help on. We have not raced at Homestead yet. That's the only track I've not raced at on NASCAR 22. That will be Friday night, so that'll be interesting. Probably end up using stability help just because I don't know how the AI are going to run there the first time, and I know the tracks I can get away with not having stability help on and having stability help on. Now that we've gone to all but one track on this game so far. Thought of Greg Biffle because work brought me Subway. Appreciate that. Yeah, we got some clutch races not only on NASCAR 22 but NASCAR 6 coming up here in the coming week and a half leading up to the start of the actual season. I mean, the season technically starts this coming weekend, but the Daytona 500 in 2 weeks following that. Can't wait. Hopefully we can get through it all before I leave for Daytona. So Kevin Harvick going to pit this time by. He's going to try to make this first stage a 2-stop stage and hope that it stays green all the way through it to have this work. This is a risky strategy, but willing to pull it off. He's got an 80-point cushion over the cutoff line, so he's willing to take the risk. And he is on pit road. It'll be 4 tires and fuel for Harvick, no adjustments. Or sorry, they will make an adjustment. A round of wedge will be coming out of the race car to try to help loosen it up. Been a clean day so far for Kevin Harvick through 28 laps, but he'll be the first to pit road in stage 1 for his green flag stop. So this is going to end up putting Harvick a lap down. The hope is that he gets up to speed as quickly as he can to not go a second lap down. I would like to believe that that would happen. Christopher Bell currently leading this race with Larson in second, Chase Elliott third. Harvick will easily get up to speed well before Christopher Bell gets here. Hopefully this wedge adjustment will help as well. So again, it's a two-stop stage for Harvick, pitting when he did. Likely won't make it on fuel for one stop, even though you would think we'd be able to go 52 laps on fuel. In this game, you cannot go 52 laps on fuel on a mile and a half for some stupid reason. Reasons I cannot explain other than the fact that it is just dumb. I mean, you would think that you could go 50 laps on fuel at intermediate. You should be able to. Cars can go like 60 to 70. At least 60. I mean, I saw Kyle Busch go, what, like 70-something laps on the final run at Texas in 2020. Granted, that was a different car. But this car saves... I think this car is better on fuel mileage than what the Gen 4 was, just because it's overall a little bit slower. And it's more off throttle time. So ideally, the hope for Kevin Harvick here is he could cycle all the way back through. Potentially into the lead, you never know. Pitted for 19th rather. Gained a couple spots in there before he ended up pitting. Ethan, thanks for tuning in. Yep, we already talked about the Hail Melon situation. I'm surprised it took NASCAR this long into the off-season, though, to make the rule change. But hey, better late than never. Well, in this scenario, better late because the season hasn't started yet. I feel like late in most people's eyes when it comes to NASCAR making like rule-changing decisions is waiting until like somebody were to get hurt in that situation and then they would make the change. That would be too late.
Clear. Got one right.
In that essence. Contact there with Buescher. Harvick had the positioning on him. AJ Allmendinger getting a little bit loose.
Got one right.
Harvick able to get by the next three cars of Corey LaJoie, Cody Ware, and AJ Allmendinger. LaJoie finished second at the Roval in a wacky race. Not only for our own sake with the glitches in Stage 2, but even in Stage 1, there were a ton of spins. Specifically in the backstretch chicane, but at times in the front stretch chicane as well. Even in the infield portion, we saw spins from time to time. Most of them took place in the backstretch chicane, though. We had some big pileups with that. Only a couple cautions, though, in the race up to the point of our DNF. I mean, I could care less who wins the Super Bowl, honestly. As a Green Bay Packers fan, I'm such a big fan of them. Like, I can't root for other teams the same way I would root for the Packers. So there's no really specific team I want to see win. I just hope for a good game. Competitive game, close game.
All clear. Stay left. Clear all around.
Joshua Rumsey, thanks for tuning in. Doesn't seem like the race leaders have gotten extremely close to lap traffic yet. Would have thought with about 28 lap pressure tires for Kevin Harvick that he was going to be able to actually pull these guys a little bit more than he has.
One left. Still inside. All clear.
Expecting everybody to pit sometime after lap 40 in the stage. And Harvick will pit twice under green in this stage. Didn't want to deal with this tight race car for too long during the course of a run.
Stay left.
That's the reason he went a little bit off strategy. On the brakes just in time, kept it off the back of Eric Jones. Still slide clear of him. On the outside of the 45 car, Kurt Busch.
Alright, hold your line. Clear, clear. Rewind, you're up top.
Still up high on Kyle. Teammate Chase Briscoe, a scrape into the wall there for Harvick. Very fortunate not to blow a tire on the right side of his race car with that hit. Second time he scraped the wall today. He scraped the wall off turn 4 earlier in the day. Now he gets a bump from his teammate, Eric Almirola. Somehow Harvick kept it off the wall even with the contact there.
One left. Got one low. Clear, clear, clear.
Dives under Bubba Wallace. They did not give you a lot of room on the bottom in turn 1. It was a late dive, but Harvick had much pressure tires, hence the reason why he tried to make the move. He did clear the 10 down to the bottom on his corner entry into turn 1 as well.
Clear, clear, clear. Got one left. Got one low. Still there. Still one left, one left. Clear,
Block on
clear,
Stenhouse in the middle of the tri-oval. Harvick to the outside into 1 and 2. He started up high, now he moves to the bottom in the middle of the corner. Byron got a little loose. Chastain up a few spots to 13th.
Stay left, stay left.
Trying to get by the 24 of Byron for 12th right now. Harvick gets by them both into 3 and 4. Just past halfway through stage 1 right now, about 38 laps to go in the first stage. The longer everybody stays out, the more of a chance Kevin Harvick's going to have of cycling to the lead.
Car right. They're all around.
That one was probably a little bit more reasonable, that there was contact there with Ryan Blaney. And the only reason is because I made such a late dive into the corner that there probably realistically would have been no way of him knowing that I was there. To the outside of the 12 this time, and should be able to get around him.
They're all around.
And he's still going to look low under Cindric into the corner. Austin Cindric, who qualified to the pole, already back to 8th place right now and is still slipping. As Blaney looks to get around him, couldn't quite get underneath him into 3 and 4. He had a run, but I think with Harvick being in the way, it might have taken that chance away of trying to make the pass from the 12. And Hamlin's cracked the top 5. Bowman, who started outside the top 10, is now up to 7th.
Clear, clear, clear. Clear, clear, clear.
One car on pit road. I was wondering if Hamlin was going to potentially pit there. I'm glad he didn't, because he probably would have slammed on the brakes in the 3rd lane and we would have drilled him. And we need this to stay green. Harvick's almost back in the lead lap. Larson to the lead. I believe the race leader would have pitted that last time, which again was Christopher Bell. Because Bell's not in the top 5 anymore. And we also haven't passed him on the actual track itself, so Bell will be the first car into the pits. It's a one-stop strategy for everybody except for Harvick, who's going to try to make it on 2. Logano stays out another lap. The Hendrick cars of Kyle Larson and Chase Elliott are in. Harvick closing in on Bell, who's leaving pit road right now. Is Harvick going to be able to cycle past the 20 and pass it for position? It doesn't look like that'll be the case. Harvick closes on Logano, expecting Joey to pit this time. seconds down and plenty of time for Harvick to get back on the lead lap. Still want this to stay green in case we get any scoring glitches. Harvick going to cycle past Kyle Larson. I believe Christopher Bell going to be the only car that actually going to beat Harvick off pit road during these green flag pit stops, but Harvick's still going to have to make one more stop at some point in this stage. Try to finish on the lead lap. Bowman Truex 1-2 at the front of the field. A lot more cars coming into pit road right now. A lot of them at the back of the pack. They're just now pitting. Larson with a run at Harvick. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to pass him in turns 3 and 4. Christopher Bell cycled back into the race lead. Harvick up to second, right in front of Larson, who is in third. After our first set of green flag pit stops in today's race at Las Vegas. Harvick still holding his own, even through 1 and 2. Definitely tell this wedge adjustment has helped the race car out just a bit. Bell's absolutely pulling away with this one right now. Larson will get around Harvick on the outside through 3 and 4, dropping Harvick back to 30, still 6 seconds ahead of Chase Elliott in 4th. So the idea here for Harvick is to run this out as far as he can and then take on fresh tires. Hopefully get about 20 lap pressure tires in to the very end of the stage. Try to go from there. Maybe you get lucky, get a caution before you have to pit under green again. But once he pits, he's going to need it to stay green to the end of the stage. If we were to see a caution, now would have to be the time. And for our sake, more so, at least on the same side of the start-finish line as Christopher Bell is, because Bell's not really within sight of us. Ideally, if we got a caution, like right after I cross the start-finish line or somewhere in turns 1 and 2, at least I know that we ourselves would be on the lead line. And not too many cars behind us would be either. If any at all, depending on where we're at. I didn't hear about it. I've heard like murmurings about it with tire tests, obviously, that NASCAR had during the season at like Martinsville, New Hampshire. I know they had them. I didn't really see anything on that recently, but it seems legitimate. I mean, it'd probably be the flat 1 mile or shorter tracks, right? I doubt they're going to race at Bristol if it rains or Dover. It's probably going to be the flatter tracks like New Hampshire, Martinsville, maybe Richmond. Can that be a little bit of a stretch? Especially with the lack of grip that track already has. Chase Elliott might have a good shot at Kevin Harvick, and easily blows around him along with lap car Ryan Blaney, who's back in 25th after a slow stop. He was inside the top 10 before the green flag pit stops took place. Cycle out of the pits back at 25th. Harvick in the number 4 car, in the number 4 position.
Stay right. All clear.
There's Burton using him up a little bit off turn 4. It's going to be big for Harvick in stage 2 specifically, knowing that everybody else is going to have to pit twice in that stage.
All clear. All clear.
With staying out all the way to the end of the stage here, unless they pit during the stage break, which is when Harvick will pit also. Just have to wait and see how all that's going to transpire. Logano will not get by Harvick this time through turns 3 and 4. Harvick throwing a block at the start-finish line. 24 laps to go yet in stage number 1. Logano still stuck behind Kevin Harvick. And a few other cars behind these 3 cars behind Harvick in hot pursuit of the 4.
Clear, clear, clear. One left. Clear, clear.
Jim McLeod going to get by Harvick, cuts off that line with Allmendinger. Denny Hamlin closing in on the lead lap just up ahead. Contact between Harvick and McLeod there.
Clear, clear, clear.
Harvick, though, still inside the top 5. It's been over 10 laps since everybody left pit road. Again, Harvick on about 20 lap older tires right now.
Got one left. All right, keep it high.
Well, you seen him get brake trained.
Clear, clear.
Now he's back to 6. Little contact with Timmy Hill.
Got one left. Clear, clear, clear.
Beaten around by battering rams all over this place. Even though they're faster than me, they're still checking up going into 3. Milwaukee, Phoenix. Yeah, I guess I could see Phoenix too. I didn't realize they added that for truck and Xfinity tracks too. I thought it was only going to be the Cup Series, honestly.
All clear.
I just about right hooked Kurt Busch into the wall there off the turn. Both the Busch brothers outside the top 30 right now. Kyle eliminated after the roval in the last round. Barely made it into the round of 12 to begin with. Barely got eliminated in that last round. Was on the bubble in both of the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. Was unable to hold on. Kevin Harvick going to pit this time by. He'll have 19 laps to go when he exits pit road. Got to make sure he locks it down. Does not speed, and he does not speed. It's pretty close there, but he is in. No adjustments this time. Didn't want to wait too much longer. He was losing a lot of time to the cars that had already passed him, which, again, if he wants to finish in the lead lap to the end of the stage, he's going to have to get going. He has likely his best chance to win stage 2 and then hopefully win the race at the end if he's obviously on the lead lap at the end of stage 1. If he's a lap down, it's going to be tough. Yeah, we're definitely rolling the dice in Vegas today. Pun intended. NASCAR Fox can make those puns every time they go to Las Vegas, and sure as hell think I can. So, second place car of Larson just went by. I think Harvick's 2 laps down right now. Harvick has to be 2 laps down. I'm surprised we lost that much time. The only reason I'm thinking that is because Blaney's a lap down in 24th still. So that was not a fast stop by this 4 team. He is going to have anywhere between 17 to 20 lap fresher tires than the leaders. Jesus, Blaney. he was all over the place. I wanted to go to the bottom, but then he was kind of, because he was kind of on the outside, and then he went to the bottom, so I was going to go to the top, and then he just slides up right into us anyway. Like, he was not able to hold the line there. That costed Harvick a lot of time. Got far back. He fell almost a second behind the 12 car. He's got to try to pull himself through again. At the very least, he needs to get one of these laps back and be one lap down to start the next stage. This two-stop strategy not looking like it is going to work at all for Kevin Harvick. Despite the fact he initially cycled into second place after the first stop. Maybe should have pitted a little bit sooner so he didn't lose as much time. That would have been one way to make our way around it. Now Tyler Reddick holding that bottom lane up right in front of Kevin Harvick, and Harvick's not going anywhere right now.
One left.
He gets the clean air, he can blow around these guys, as he does on the outside there around Reddick and Dillon. He'll catch Larson, but Christopher Bell, the race leader, is going to be a little bit more difficult to try to catch for the end of the stage. Sounding just like PW. I feel like Mike Joy's the one that always makes those puns, too. They probably tell him to do it. Or he's falling that much more out of touch that he keeps doing it every year, thinking it's funny and kind of gets cold. I can see either or. They could be telling him to say that in his ear, too. Production meeting. Make sure you get a couple of Vegas jokes across. A couple gambling jokes this weekend. As they give the jokes, they have like the national like gambling hotline or whatever, bottom of the screen. You or anybody that you know is addicted to gambling, please dial yada yada yada. Whatever, 1-800. Whatever number that is. It's amazing how much that slows my car down every time there's contact. Harvick was easily just going to be able to clear Keselowski, no problem there, and that wasn't the case with the contact in the middle of the corner. Harvick's able to drive a nice line, but everybody else kind of floats up out of line every so often, and it really hurts him. The good news is for Harvick is the fact that it looks like there's going to be a lot of cars that are going to finish one lap down at the end of the stage, but if Harvick is 2 laps down, it's not going to matter. Considering he's 2 laps down right now, we're going to have 9 laps to go at stage 1 at the line. We are still caution-free through this first stage at Las Vegas today. Will it stay that way, though, is the question. Yeah, they pretty much had the stage lengths for the races this year. There was a few of them that didn't have yet. I don't think they have all of them for the truck and the Xfinity, though. I think some of the tracks they go to for the first time there, they don't have.
Got one right. Got one
Should
right.
have a shot to get by Larson. Got a little tight and dirty air behind him there. Slight check up into turn 1-1 to try to not make contact with the 5, and he didn't. The outside of Larson into 3 and 4. Gonna get by him. Now we're gonna have to try to find Christopher Bell somewhere around this racetrack. He zigzags by Briscoe and Gilliland. Chastain's even a lap down as a playoff driver in 16th. As well as Truex in 15th. Maybe it was just the scheduling that they needed to update it then. I know, I was on the NASCAR app earlier looking at the schedule just to see start times for a lot of the races this year, because I'm still trying to plan exactly how I'm going to go to certain races. Having a little more issues with trying to get my work schedule finalized. So it's going to be much easier than what it was going to be, and it is not the case. But I will still commit to doing trucking Xfinity streams this year.
Clear, clear, clear.
I will find a way to get Saturdays off, even if I have to pick up another shift during the week. Which, for whatever reason, they're not letting me right now. I'm like, man, you guys can't even accommodate for that. Like, I'm trying to work with you.
Three wide, you're up top. Three wide, two down there.
They don't even care that I drop a day. They just don't want me to drop Saturdays. It's like, that defeats the whole purpose of me dropping a day.
All clear.
Doesn't make any sense.
Car right.
Oh my gosh.
Clear all around.
Harvick nearly right hooked that time by Kaz Gralla. Here's Bell. 4 laps to go in the stage. He's trying to get by a couple cars right now. They're side by side in front of the 20. Harvick right behind the 20. Larson slowly closing in on Bell as well. See, Christopher should be able to hold on to win stage 1. Harvick to the outside. Almost into the wall. Had to get on the brakes pretty heavily there. Gonna have a few more laps to try to get by Bell. 3 to go in the stage at the line for the 20. Harvick to the inside. But then Suarez is going to be in the way in front of him. Contact up the track.
Got one left.
Holds Harvick up.
Clear all around.
But he's barely going to be able to hold on in front of the 20th Bell. Big block on the back straightaway to get at least one of his laps back here. Now he has to keep him behind him with a lot of lap cars still in front of Harvick. Not going to be easy.
You're 3 wide. All clear.
Stenhouse runs into the side of him.
2 inside, you're 3 wide. 2 inside, you're 3 wide.
Yeah, I'm still going to be doing the cup races too.
Still next to you. Still next to you.
I mean, that was just like last year.
Clear all around. 3 wide. 2 down
I'm still
there.
off on Sundays anyway. Now a clean finish to this stage for Kevin Harvick. Surprised he was able to get 1 lap back. I think the pit stop was just really slow for Kevin Harvick. Specifically on that second stop, because there is no reason we should have went 2 laps down. Even though Bell has lapped quite a few cars.
Got one right. Got one right.
Probably going to have barely over 10 cars on the lead lap at the end of stage 1. These first 80 laps in this first stage going caution-free. And the stage is over behind Harvick.
Car right.
I just completely flatlined the corner there into Byron. Oh, well, that's Jesus. That was the game. That was not me. I ran into Byron. That was me. But everything after that, that was exaggerated by the game going into the stage break. Christopher Bell's going to win stage 1 tonight. Kyle Larson 2nd. Chase Elliott 3rd. Joey Logano 4th. Denny Hamlin 5th. Alex Bowman 6th. Austin Dillon 7th. Austin Cindric 8th. Michael McDowell 9th. The William Byron rounds out the top 10. So the playoff drivers who receive stage points in stage 1 would be Bell in 1st. Elliott in 3rd. Logano 4th. Cindric 8th. And Byron 10th. Then the 3 drivers who finished outside the top 10 did not get stage points in stage 1 in the playoffs. So it would be Truex in 13th, Chastain 14th, and Harvick in 36th, as we saw there moments ago. Lap down for playoff drivers Truex and Chastain, I do believe. Suarez would have been the last car on the lead lap at 12th, so we'll have just 12 cars on the lead lap to begin stage number 2. Take a screenshot of the top 10. We will not update the point standings at all during the course of this stream today, so we keep things rolling right along. We'll just wait till the elimination race Saturday night at Martinsville to do that during the stage breaks, or at least at the end of stage 2. But right now, we're just going to get right back into it. So we will pit during the stage break here with Kevin Harvick. Didn't realize the game volume was that loud. Gotta turn that down a little bit. There we go. But yeah, Christopher Bell gonna get the stage win, and for Chris, that is going to be stage win number 3 of the season for Christopher Bell. second most winningest driver this year with 4 wins, and he's trying to go for another one today. I believe he won at Vegas earlier this season. Let me check on that. Yeah, he did. So Bell did win at Las Vegas in the 3rd race of the year, so he's trying to go for the Las Vegas sweep tonight. But no adjustments here. We'll pit during the stage break. Hopefully everybody else stays out. So that way they'll pit at the beginning of stage 2 and we'll be able to make that lap back up. And maybe even get to the lead. Who knows? We'll see how it's going to work. It's going to be interesting. Nope, nobody else pitted during the stage break. Jeez. Just scuffed tires right into the side of each other there. And now I'm lagging behind on the restart for some reason. 85 laps, stage 2. Green flag back in the air. Are we going to have fresher tires on the rest of the field here on this restart? On 35 lap fresher tires at that. Going to have to take advantage of this as quickly as he possibly can. Going to have to be prepared for cars pitting as well. Massive checkup going into that turn. I have to downshift just to get back going again. All the way down to 125 miles an hour to make turn 3 at Vegas. It's ridiculous. Even at flat Vegas, they weren't going that slow. Actually, in all reality, they weren't going that much slower than what we're going now with the banked Las Vegas Oval. Trying to get to the outside. I was on the brakes forever there. It still slightly touched the 15 of Smithley. Landon, thanks for tuning in. I am not going to take it 3 wide into turn 1. They already don't give me enough room side by side through that area of the racetrack. I knew 3 wide they were just going to try to wreck me. A lot of positions up for grabs on the restart for Harvick. Again, only 12 cars on the lead lap at the end of stage 1. Big moves 3 wide. Just got by Harrison Burton there. Up the middle goes Harvick between Keselowski and Bubba Wallace. There's a lot of contact. Keselowski holds on. Harvick just jammed his way through there. Not a wise decision. God bless America.
Clear.
A lot of contact. A lot more contact in this race today than what I would like. We're hanging on to it. At least for now. Ooh, Stenhouse got super loose off of turn 4. Big wiggle from the 47 as he drops back a spot. And actually, we have more cars on the lead lap to the end of the stage than what I thought. I think there were some cars that were able to get by Bell before the end of the last stage because Kevin Harvick is scored in 19th right now, even after passing the 15th place car. It's like Jones would be the first car lapped out at 16. So we have 15 cars on the lead lap, which would mean that the playoff drivers of Chastain and Truex would have finished on the lead lap then in the last stage. So Harvick is the only playoff driver to lap down of the 8 remaining to start stage 2. And again, one of only 3 that did not get stage points in stage 1. Penske's going to win 8 races, including the Clash. So you're counting the exhibition, or are you saying like 8 points races, but then they'll win the Clash also? Jeez Louise. I swear, if I'm not making the mistake, they're just running me off the track. It just doesn't look right. Cars ping-ponging off each other like this. Like, this isn't a short track. Cars don't do this at Las Vegas. And we can blow a tire at any given time, too. We've done that plenty of times this season. And on this game, there is enough contact. That's enough room here. Cindric protecting the bottom as he's up to 6th after the restart. Harvick again, first car lap down is 16th. And Elliott's going to pit here. Bowman got sideways up, turn 4, holds on to it. Harvick gets by him. So Chase Elliott, the first of the leaders to pit. He was in 4th when diving onto pit road. Bell was the first car to pit. Last time, and the caution flag is out. For the first time today, caution is out. I don't think all the leaders got past the start-finish line there. Harvick's still going to be a lap down. Harvick will still be a lap down. Oh boy, this is interesting. We're going to have to pit. So Harvick going to be a lap down still, but luckily we're not going to lose an extra lap because of the scoring glitch. But I do think that there's going to be some cars that were on the lead lap, like Chase Elliott, if he didn't get past the start-finish line of pit road, like some other cars that did not get to the start-finish line before the caution came out, whether they pitted or just weren't there under green. Those guys got to get trapped a lap down as well. Probably going to see everybody hit pit road here. Except for cars that might have been on pit road when the caution waved, but they could be a lap down whether they did or not. So this is going to shake the running order up quite a bit. This is our first caution for incident, our second caution total if you count the stage 1 break tonight. Not everybody on pit road. Alright, this is interesting. We got some cars in, some cars stayed out. Banging under caution with Logano. So Harvick going to be a lap down still. So he did not get his lap back at the beginning of the stage like he had hoped. Green flag going to be back in the air here. He wasn't that far away from getting back on the lead lap either. Big time restart on the outside for Harvick. Trying to get through. A lot of contact there with Bell. We're going to have some cars. Yep, cars pitting, cars wrecking nearly. One car got turned, 3 wide. Kyle Busch cautions out again. Oh my gosh. Having repetitive cautions all of a sudden here at Las Vegas. I don't think we lost a lap that time. I hope we didn't. Green flag back in the air. I don't think the leaders got to the start-finish line there. Massive checkup into turns 3 and 4. Ty Dillon slides up. Thought he was going to slide all the way up into Harvick. He did not. Harvick to the outside of Byron, who gets loose off turn 4. Harvick's got to go. Trying to get back on the lead lap. Hooking the white line all the way through turns 1 and 2. He knows he does not have good long run speed. Chastain with a big block. Elliott slowed up big time. Heavy damage on Harvick. Cars were pitting. Elliott checked. Elliott is a lap down. Harvick back on the lead lap with Larson in the lead, but heavy damage on the front of the 4 and the back of the 9 now. I figured how slow they were going. There were some cars that still didn't pit. This is going to be tough to hold on to the lead lap now. With this damage, Harvick going to try to do what he can. A lot of cars on pit road, though. Larson, who got booted from the playoffs in the first round, trying to get his second win of the season. It'll be a second in a 7-race stretch. 8-race stretch, because he won the regular season finale at Daytona for his first win. Gonna have to race his way back on the lead lap the traditional way, it looks like here at stage number 1, unless we get a caution again. This picker's gonna have to have a fast pit stop this time too, with that being said.
Clear, clear. Stay left. Clear, clear, clear.
Live traffic could hold him up a little bit. Chase Elliott getting held up by Todd Gilliland. Harvick up to 7th, by the way, so that means only 7 cars on the lead lap, with Harvick being the last of which. Larson still a half a second behind him. He got through those lap cars much quicker than I thought he was going to. You know, it wasn't from the wall. The damage was from hitting Elliott. I know it hit the wall at the end of the stage. Not well, I specifically didn't, but the AI kind of turned me that way. But that had nothing to do with the actual damage on the car. The damage is from getting into the back of Elliott when there were cars checking up, lap cars checking up in front of him that hadn't hit pit road. So this is not good. Larson seems to be a bit quicker than the 4 of Harvick right now as a result. Harvick still holding on to his lead lap, but I don't know how he's going to finish on the lead lap at the end of this stage with this damage and with Larson behind him. We can't repair damage in this game because it just doesn't work. Even though there's an option for minimal or full damage repair, it still does not repair the actual damage. And it takes longer on pit road. So because of that, we are not going to be repairing any damage. And we're just kind of stuck with it the rest of the race, unfortunately. A little over half the race still to go. Harvick taking a shortcut through the tri-oval this time. He's losing Chase Elliott, but he seems to be closing in on Todd Gilliland. Looks like Tyler Reddick actually got around Kyle Larson through 3 and 4. At least there's clean air in front of the 4 for right now. And the wall off turn 4, that's not going to help him. Reddick to the inside. Bell up to 2nd, right behind Larson. Well, not directly behind him, but about a 2nd behind him. Larson might have a chance to get back by Reddick as Harvick was able to power through on that outside lane to stay in front of the 8 car. Trying to break whatever draft he could into the tri-oval again. 2 early cautions at stage 2 after a caution-free first stage, giving us 3 cautions total with the stage break. We know we have 1 more stage break coming yet. Definitely be interesting to see how that works itself out. If you're Kevin Harvick, I think you have to consider short pitting before the end of the stage. Going to be his best opportunity to finish on the lead lap, especially with Larson, the leader, getting to the inside of Harvick this time, into 3 and 4. And just stays in front of the 5 again. And again, Larson to the bottom. Harvick, not too aggressive with the side draft. Thought about it. Couldn't get all the way down. Larson's still there. And he runs into Harvick. Harvick's still going to try to cross him over, but that definitely cut the momentum of the 4 off, and now he gets crowded again and almost turned by the 5. Back and forth battle right now between Kevin Harvick and Kyle Larson. And now Bell right behind Larson through turns 3 and 4, trying to challenge him for the lead. He's side by side with Chastain. Harvick has to block the 1. Chastain trying to get a lap back in 11th. He would be 2 laps down in that 11th place position right now. Larson to the inside will clear Harvick through 1 and 2. And Harvick is in trouble right now. Bell going to get around the 4 car also. Harvick drives it deep to get by Christopher Bell through turns 3 and 4. But he is not going to be able to keep up with Kyle Larson, though. Your Harvick, as much as you want a short pit, I just don't think he can do it. Because if he did it, there is no way you are going to have a chance to finish on the lead lap at the end of the stage. And you might even risk going 2 laps down if we get any more cautions. So you just kind of have to play this out and hope for the best. Almost within the fuel window to be able to make it to the end of the stage. Not quite there, but we're getting close. Harvick really tight through 1 and 2, out of the gas for a while, kept it off the wall at least. Bell is losing Larson. He's had a lot of lap cars pass him in recent laps. Harvick in the wall off turn 4 again. You can just see the car going straight up the track in the middle of the corner. It's really tight off the exit. It rolls in fine. The very tight middle off right now for Harvick, with the damage to the front of the car. Again, the good news is he's in 7th. The bad news is he's a lap down at 7th. Logano to 2nd as he has passed Bell a couple laps ago. Moving Bell to 3rd. quarter tank of gas left right now for Harvick at this point in the run. Score is down to the inside of the 4 of Harvick. Are we going to have to let him go? So we have just 6 cars on the lead lap. But again, no free pass given, so Harvick, even if he's the first car lap down in 7th place at the end of the stage, he's still not going to get his lap back. Needs to try to get that lap back traditionally at this point. One way or another. Into 3 and 4, contact with Logano immediately slowed Harvick up as he saw there. And Busch going to blow around on the outside of the 4 as well. Didn't lift that time in the middle of the corner, just tried to drive out of it. Wasn't a wise idea. Out into the wall. All tires are up at least. Harvick going to pit this time by and hope that he is going to pit soon enough to try to make up some time on race leader Kyle Larson to try to hope that he can finish on the lead lap to the end of the stage. Going to have about 36 laps to go before the end of stage 2. Harvick will pit this time, and he is going for it off pit road, trying to get down to pit road speed, which is 45 miles an hour, and he'll easily do so. And he is in. 3rd green flag stop of the day, and the first green flag stop of stage 2, the only one at that. He pitted during a caution earlier in the stage as well. So it is a 2-stop second stage, just like the last stage, but with the caution, going to have to make this final run quite a bit longer than the second or the first stage, where we kind of split it up more evenly into 30 lap and then 30 lap increments, and we end up hitting and running out the last 20. That stop felt quicker. We're going to be 2 laps down, so we really need this to play green to the end of the stage. So at least, at the very least, we finish 1 lap down at the end of the stage. The hope is by short pitting right now that we get to 2 laps down. Scares me that Chase Elliott was only a couple seconds behind us. Harvick's going to have about 30 lap fresher tires. With all the playoff drivers getting stage points today, it would be kind of a shame to not get any stage points. I think we'll be locked into at least a 7th place finish in the stage as long as we get a caution. Or as long as we don't get a caution. If we get a caution, then we'll get locked out of stage points. Total today. Harvick had just enough room on the outside to try to make the corner there. A lot more room on the outside through 1 and 2, it appears here. At least on the 34. McDowell, never mind, I stand corrected. Probably could have went to the wall a little more, though. McDowell also could have held his line. It was a little bit of both of us. Racing deal. Kind of knew they were going to go all the way up to the top in the middle of the corner that time. I'm glad I cut down to the bottom when I did. Despite entering up high to pass the first of those 4 cars that were directly in line in front of Harvick. On the inside of Keselowski, gets by him cleanly at least. Longer they stay out, the better for us. I think I just saw Larson on pit road there. I could be wrong, but I thought he was just pitting. Actually, no, I think Larson just cycled out of the pits right in front of this giant pack of cars. And he got in front of all of them, too. That is big for Larson to stay in front of Harvick. Especially if any of these cars pit this time, which is not going to be the case. Which is definitely going to be troublesome for Kevin Harvick in the 4 this time. Threw the first set of them pretty cleanly, at least. Slicing and dicing. Harvick to 13th. Larson getting held up behind a lap car right now of Ryan Blaney. Fellow Ford driver holding up a Chevy, which could help Harvick get back to Larson, which he's going to need this. He gained a little bit of time on him pitting when he did, but not enough. And the longer Blaney stays out, the better for Harvick, because that's only going to hurt Larson more and more if Larson can't get by the 12. Failed to do so through 3 and 4 that time, and Harvick's about a second and a half behind the 5. I think Larson can still stay in front of Harvick as long as Ryan Blaney does pit this time, but if he doesn't, I think Harvick may get to him into 3 and 4 the following lap. Larson looking low, Blaney down to block. That'll help Harvick. Here comes the 4 with a run. The 12 does not pit there, and here comes the 4 of Harvick. Can he get his lap back on Larson, who has already cycled back to the lead? Waiting on some other lead lap cars to still pit again. Harvick has a run on the 5, looks to the outside. Needs to pass him. How much longer will Blaney hold him up? Larson runs the 4 up the track. They're going to be 3 wide as they enter turns 3 and 4. And that panned out because Kevin Harvick has cleared Kyle Larson to get back on the lead lap. Yeah, Larson already pitted, so he's back on the lead lap. Just past Cindric for position now. Cindric's still going to have to pit. Larson laps the 2 quickly. And now Harvick's got to stay in front of Larson for 25 more laps. Easier said than done. Blows by the 16. Larson did not pass Allmendinger that time. That's going to hold him up. Billy Carjoy, welcome into the stream. NASCAR Cup Series 2311 Racing, welcome in. I know you've been in the chat for a while. I don't think I shouted you out yet. Harvick about a second ahead of Larson. He's not faster than him by any means. Larson is faster than the 4. Has the few lap pressure tires on top of it. Just past halfway in tonight's race. Larson got by Allmendinger eventually. Harvick gets by Eric Jones into turns 1 and 2. And here comes Larson with a head of steam behind the 43, but he'll get stuck behind him off the exit of the corner. Once all these other cars pit, though, Harvick is not going to be catching and passing anybody else. Kyle Busch in 25th will be next. Larson gets by Eric Jones through 3 and 4 that time, and he's on a beeline for Kevin Harvick in the 4 car. Harvick's car is only going to get tighter and tighter and tighter over the course of the run. Larson having a run at him on the back straightaway, heading into turns 3 and 4. Dives, Busch making contact with Harvick. That'll slow the 4 up. Harvick survives narrowly. Harvick needs to finish in front of Larson at the end of stage 2 to start the final stage on the lead lap. Maybe his only chance to win. Kyle Busch is holding Kyle Larson up big time that last lap. He held Harvick up quite a bit too. But once Harvick got around him, he's already a second and a half ahead of Busch. Larson now will get by the 18 into turns 1 and 2. And he's coming again. It's a cat and mouse game in the lap traffic right now. Quickly going to get by Todd Gilliland cleanly at that. Underneath the 77 of Balicki. Cleanly. Okay, that's 2 more cars between the 4 and the 5. Trying to help Kevin Harvick breathe a little bit easier. We'll alternate through the different camera angles for the first time in the race today. Hoping to get to Suarez for position this time into turns 3 and 4, and he'll get him easily. Larson still stuck behind Gilliland. The longer they stay out, the better for Kevin Harvick. Harvick is going to be in good position to get some stage points, I would have to imagine here. Probably not going to catch Elliott for position. There's quite a few other cars that are still in the lead lap. Dark Crypto, welcome into the stream. Byron doesn't pit that time. Thankfully enough for Harvick, he didn't, because Harvick was on the inside right behind the 24 car. Wouldn't have had anywhere to go. Down into turns 1 and 2. Harvick trying to pick the outside, then dive it down to the bottom in the middle of the corner. Gets the run on Byron. Good cross over / undercut move on the 24 car. And going to blow around him easily into turns 3 and 4. And we do have a few of the lap cars pitting this time off turn 4. Busch held up on the outside down into turns 1 and 2, but Harvick will clear him into the corner of the slide job. Chase Elliott getting held up behind lap cars. I mean, that could allow Harvick to catch the 9 car, I guess. Be another stage point, and a stage point taken away from Elliott. Elliott gets by a couple of lappers, but it'll be interesting if they have anybody pit in front of him this time. That is not the case, so I won't hold up Elliott too much more. He does have 3 more lap cars in front of him, though, in the tri-oval right now, as he tries to blow around him as quickly as he possibly can. Harvick has gapped Larson for now, but once those other cars pit in between the 4 and the 5, Larson is going to have a head of steam trying to catch the 4 again. Harvick closing in quickly to the outside of Custer and Reddick. They'll pit. Good thing Harvick went to the top. That's why he did. Chase Elliott caught behind Larice Hesmans right now into turns 1 and 2. Harvick chops the bottom off into the corner, trying to slide up in front of Elliott. And he is going to clear him for 8th place. Took his line away there. And that worked out beautifully. And now he'll get by Hesmans into 3 and 4. More cars pitting in front of the 4. Didn't have to check up for him, though. Chase Elliott around the high side. Going to have a big run at Harvick now in the tri-oval. Harvick has cycled to 6th place. Stenhouse in 5th, about 6 or 7 seconds ahead of him. And on pressure tires at this point in the run. Harvick got too worried about Elliott. He's more worried about Larson, who's about 4 seconds behind him yet. At all costs, have to finish this stage on the lead lap. Larson will catch Harvick with time. Just gonna be, can he get around him would be the question. Elliott to the outside. Harvick not really worried about him. He'll stay low. Elliott about had him cleared. But I think the lap car of Eric Jones coming out of the pits kind of held Elliott up just a little bit. Now he'll clear him off turn 4 again anyway. Harvick about 3 seconds still ahead of Kyle Larson. Chase Elliott to 6th. Harvick back to 7th, which is where he was position-wise when he hit pit road, but he was a lap down, and now he's on the lead lap. 1 and 2 is really where Larson is gaining on Harvick right now. Not as much at 3 and 4, but at 1 and 2 especially, he is gaining. Two more lap cars. Noah Gragson and AJ Allmendinger closing in on the 4 of Harvick. Harvick can't allow these guys to get by. It's going to be more cars that are going to be between himself and Larson. Elliott, he really had no match for, but if he's going to have any sort of a match with Larson, it's not going to be head-to-head. So he's going to need a little bit of help. So we have about 9 laps to go yet in the stage. Larson's only about a second behind Harvick. And closing very quickly. Harvick not going to get help from lap traffic in front of him. It's going to have to be out of his rearview mirror. The vacant rearview mirror in NASCAR 22. Consider we started this stage a lap down, thinking we have an extra lap left than what I originally thought. Gragson going to get by the 4 of Harvick down to the inside through turns 1 and 2. Larson still stuck behind the 16. There are a lot of other lap cars where Larson came from as well. Harvick just dives it really deep into 3 and 4. Down on the bottom, trying to stick. Wants to protect the inside as much as he possibly can. Chastain just got one of his 2 laps back in the 14th place position, getting by Larson. Larson's starting to shift backwards in that conga line just a little bit. Less pressure for Harvick. I feel like once one of these cars get by Kevin Harvick, he is going to get freight trained himself, though, too. Larson's about the 5th car in line. Allmendinger to the outside, going to get by Harvick. That's one more of them. Almirola battling Chastain right behind Harvick for 14th at 1 lap down right now. Harvick protecting the bottom, getting into turns 1 and 2. Still have 6 laps to go in the stage for Harvick. 5 to go, though, for Kyle Larson, who was behind the 4. So 4 laps left in the stage this time by. Harvick's taking care of his tires quite a bit in this run. Probably better in this run than any other green flag run in the race prior. Almirola going to get by Harvick. Timmy Hill to the inside, but he runs the 4 up the track. And a big block by the 4 of Harvick on the 1 of Chastain. But couldn't hold the bottom with it. Blaney going to get by. He uses the 4 up a little bit. So Larson has closed on the 4 again. He's got side-by-side cars in front of him with Keselowski and LaJoy. That's another thing, though. These cars get alongside Harvick, and they really use him up. We saw him make contact with Blaney and Timmy Hill. Both got underneath him, but did not pass it cleanly, and that let a lot of other cars by, about another 3 or 4 of them. Harvick just sails it off into the corner, trying to keep the corner entry speed up. Slide up the track a little bit through the center and just have enough power by exit to at least keep a decent amount of straightaway speed, even though he's going to be lacking a little bit. He was going to be lacking anyway with how tight the car is at this point in the run. A lot of the cars that have pitted recently are the lap cars anyway and are on much fresher tires. It's the best way of really trying to play any sort of defense. It's the final lap that Harvick will have to hold on to the end of the stage. Kyle Larson will come by to win stage number 2. This time by at the start-finish line. Harvick's got 1 more corner to just hang on in front of him. And Larson's got about 4 lap cars between himself and the 4. It was 2 just about a lap and a half ago. Harvick missed the bottom that time. Keselowski underneath him, but passes him cleanly, luckily enough there for Harvick. He didn't get booted into the wall. And Kyle Larson is going to win the stage. We didn't even get all the way back to the line. It just ended it right there. But stage is over. Kyle Larson wins stage 2. Joey Logano 2nd. Christopher Bell, who won stage 1, falls back to 3rd. Denny Hamlin 4th. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 5th. Chase Elliott 6th. And the last car on the lead lap, Kevin Harvick, raced his way back on the lead lap in stage number 2. No pit strategy there, really. It was just simply racing our way back onto the lead lap the old-fashioned way. We're barely able to hold on to. Austin Dillon finishes 8th in the stage, but first car lap down. Michael McDowell 9th. Austin Cindric rounds out the top 10. Playoff drivers on the top 10 then would have been Logano in 2nd, Bell in 3rd, Elliott in 6th, Harvick 7th, Cindric in 10th. The playoff drivers who did not get stage points in stage 2 would be Martin Truex Jr. in 12th, Ross Chastain in 15th, and William Byron in 16th. So again, that will be the end of stage 2 today. We'll get the final stage underway. We will pit. Not sure if anybody else will pit or not, but we will definitely pit during the stage break. 4 tires and fuel, and then no adjustments here. Harvick did his job. He held on. 1 stage to go at Las Vegas today. That was the 6th stage win of the season for Kyle Larson as well. Again, he was eliminated from the playoffs. 1 race win, 6 stage wins now for Harvick on the season. Under 2 laps in the final stage. Green flag going to be back in the air as we are racing at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. How will the strategy work out this time? Harvick lagging back on the start. He was the only car to hit pit road during the stage break. Probably going to see some cars pit some point in time early in this final stage. Has to get going, though. Try to get as much track position as he can, as quickly as he can, to try to soar his way through the field. We saw some cautions early in the last stage. Harvick at least was able to stay out of trouble.
Clear, clear, clear. Three wide, two down there.
Doesn't have that much pressure. Tires and a lot of lap cars, and we've got trouble. Up turn 4, Gillen goes for a spin. Caution's out, but it was just after Harvick crossed the start-finish line. I think it was from the Gillen spin, so we're going to have to pit here, but we just can't pit for fuel or tires. Bringing out the caution, but Harvick will remain on the lead lap. He just hit the start-finish line when the caution flag came out. So again, cannot pit for fuel or tires here. But we did cause the caution. And thankfully, again, we were just, split seconds past the start-finish line when that caution flag waved for Gillen spinning off of 4. That was a major checkup. You would have thought somebody would have pitted there the way they checked up, knowing this game when cars pit in a big pack like that, but that wasn't the case. Harvick just damaged his car even more on the front. Second hard hit off turn 4 he has had with the car. That time was much different than the first with Elliott in stage 2, but the green flag is back in the air again. Showed us in the lead there for a second. That scared me. Like, what? Already? A lot more checking up going on. Might see some cars pit this time. Nope, that is not the case. Nobody pits. Much better restart this time for Harvick than the last time anyway. Trying to fight his way down to the bottom and just barely did on Allmendinger. A little bit of contact, though, even still. Into turns 3 and 4, 3 wide with Keselowski, who runs the 4 down, even though the 4 is already on the apron nearly. Harvick to the top, 3 wide. Found a hole and was immediately going for it. 77 backed up right in front of him. Harvick finds his way back to the bottom. Trying to get a run on Michael McDowell now. Despite how loose Bilicki seemed to have... It might have gotten tight and lifted off the corner. Didn't look like the rear tires were sliding out from underneath him, but... He definitely lifted or something or stacked up the outside, but he still was able to launch himself down the front stretch regardless. Are we going 3 to the top again? Third time since the restart. We'll push. All I did was slow him down a little bit, though, behind Cole Custer. They can't clear him off turn 2 either. Cindric moving him all the way down the track. Harvick still in 7 since the restart. Now they're checking out middle of the back straightaway. Oh my gosh. More contact. Reddick got in the back of Harrison Burton. I think they were checking up because Chase Elliott just pitted. 3 wide to the top goes Harvick. Caution is out further back. Caution flag is out. That may trap Chase Elliott a lap down again. Tough to tell for sure. Harvick will have to pit during the caution flag. It'll be our 5th yellow of the race. Our 3rd for incident. The first incident caution in stage 3. So Harvick going to pit with the rest of the field here. Imagining that we're going to have a lot of other cars on the lead lap pitting. And we'll get a chance to try to regroup. So Chance Elliott could be on the lead lap still, depending on where he was when he crossed the start-finish line. Sorry, this is our 6th caution of the race and our 2nd caution for incident in stage 2. Forgot the Gilliland spin on the 2nd lap of this final stage. Green flag back in the air with about 92 laps to go. Make that 82 to go. Harvick has even fresher tires now on everybody else pitting under that caution that he did not cause. The problem is somewhere up here Chase Elliott is on pretty much equal tires as Harvick. And I'm thinking he is on the lead lap, considering the fact he was not restarting back where Harvick was. And nobody else hit pit road with the 4 like we were originally expected. A lot of cars going to pit now. Cars scattering all over the place. 3 and 4 wide. Harvick going to blow by everybody into the tri-oval. My goodness, he is up to 2nd. That worked out beautifully. No caution either. We stay green. Elliott's got one more car up in front of him yet. And no, never mind. I think Elliott's the car that's long gone. The very, very front of the field.
One lap, clear, clear.
So Elliott was on the lead lap still and now leads the race. But Harvick is up to P2. Got 4 stage points today total, all in stage 2. But he's about 7 seconds behind Chase Elliott. That was a perfect timing caution for Elliott then when he was in the pits. Harvick jamming on the brakes in the middle of 3 and 4 to try to keep it off of Alex Bowman. Got his momentum down quite a bit. And he's having trouble just trying to stay alongside of the 48 middle of the tri-oval. Gets by him into turns 1 and 2. And now to the inside of Haley off turn 2 as well. Larson in 7th is a lap down after just coming off of pit road. So Harvick and Elliott, the only 2 at the very front of the field then on this strategy. Everybody in this race is going to have to pit one more time. The cars who have not pitted since the restart will have to pit 2 times yet before the end of the race. And the idea here for Harvick, Elliott, and the rest of the field is try to stretch this run out as far as you can to make it on one stop, really. You try to make it on 2 if you're Harvick. It's gonna be tough. He's not gonna be able to run Elliott down on speed. He's gonna have to hope Elliott catches a lot of lap traffic, which is gonna be tough with the way the field is spread apart right now. Harvick finished 2nd at Las Vegas to Christopher Bell earlier this season. Doesn't want to finish 2nd at Vegas again. Wants to go for the win and clinch himself into the championship 4, but Chase Elliott trying to do the same. Remember, Elliott lost a fuel mileage race at Michigan earlier this season. Haley was able to win that race, then lost a fuel mileage race at Kansas in the first race of the round as well. So if it, for some reason, is a fuel mileage race, maybe it's not going to be helpful for Chase right now, although I just don't think that that will be the case. Everybody should be able to make it on one stop yet. Alternate through the different camera angles one more time in today's race. Couple lap cars on pit road right now. Quite a few cars on pit road. Luckily, Harvick's cycling in front of all of them. There's a chance maybe Chase Elliott got held up a little bit because that lead is just under 5 seconds now. Harvick is not going to catch Bubba Wallace, who's the next car in front of him, who just came out of the pits in the 23. Elliott now only about 3.5 seconds ahead of Kevin Harvick. So he is getting held up in lap traffic. After all, I didn't think it was going to be possible, but it's getting maybe even too far spaced apart here for Elliott, with everybody pitting in these recent laps. Elliott's got a lot of traffic in front of him. Larson getting held up as well. More cars pitting off turn 4 this time. Elliott catching the conga line, and here comes Kevin Harvick in the 4. And he's got a full head of steam down into turn 1 as he gets to the inside of Bubba Wallace. Just kept it off Kyle Larson into the corner. As the 23 car cleared, another lap car pulling up middle of the back straightaway. Pulling up a slew of cars. Harvick to the inside of Elliott. This is for the lead. Into the corner. Contact with Stenhouse. That held Harvick up too much with the contact. Elliott leads that lap at the line barely. That was the chance Harvick needed, but he made a mistake on that contact with Stenhouse. Does he have any chance to keep up with Chase Elliott? There's a lap car still in Elliott's way. Harvick to the outside of the 9 for the lead. Lapper gonna pit off turn 4. Almost contact between Harvick and Elliott. Harvick's in the wall off the corner to keep it off the 9. And Elliott again holds on to the lead. Harvick getting freight trained now by all these cars coming out of the pits on fresher tires. I think the big thing is now for Harvick is maybe those guys catch Elliott and they start to slow him up a bit. Elliott able to pull up in front of LaJoy. Had a couple chances to get by Elliott. Harvick made a mistake. He got into the wall. Elliott was going wide. He wasn't sure if Elliott was going to squeeze him or not. Elliott did a good job keeping it off the 4. There was no contact between the 9 and the 4 car specifically there, but either times they were side by side. Elliott played it clean on his part. Harvick did too. Harvick ended up in the wall, which costed him the momentum and allowed for Elliott to slingshot by into turn 1. All the lap cars that are right behind Harvick right now, he's got to keep them there. We'll go to the far chase cam for the rest of the race. Battle for the championship 4 on the line right now between Kevin Harvick and Chase Elliott. They're about 3 seconds apart from one another. Elliott in the lead, Harvick in second. As of right now, looking as if both drivers going to need to pit one time in this race, as well as the rest of the field, and there's still other drivers that have a chance. Larson, last car on the lead lap. Sure, Elliott and Harvick pulled away from everybody else for now, but for how long are they going to be able to close back in on these guys? They'll cycle back to the lead on pit stops once the 9 and the 4 end up pitting eventually, because they will have to pit before everybody else. A little less than half a tank of fuel right now for Harvick at this point in the run. Big line of cars Harvick's holding up, but he really wants to keep all these guys behind him. Never know if any of them could be for position, too. Harvick lifts to keep it off of the wall off turn 4 there. 60 laps to go at the line right now. Maybe we get another caution for the end of the race. It's possible. At this point, who knows? Had 6 of them total on the day. 2 in Stage 2 for incident, 2 stage breaks, and 2 cautions for incident in Stage 3. None for incident in Stage 1. Elliott slowly getting away from Kevin Harvick over the course of this run. Past halfway through the fuel run, Harvick really lacks this point in the run on. The car just gets really tight with the damage. Got it in the back of a couple cars pretty hard in this one, Elliott being one of which. Coincidentally, they're first and second right now. They were not first and second when they made contact. I think they were running 6th and 7th at the time. They have been the ones that have benefited with that most recent caution. Harvick pitted during the yellow, and Elliott was on pit road when the caution came out, so it worked out for both of them. Elliott got the advantage of restarting well ahead of Harvick. Harvick had to play catch-up and almost was able to do so, and got to him, just couldn't get around him with the help of some lap traffic in the middle of those green flag pit stops from everybody who did not pit during the caution. Because Harvick was the only car that pitted during the yellow, and Elliott, again, on pit road when the caution wave, but nobody else actually pitted during that caution period. Harvick lifting off turn 4 to keep it off the wall. Again, the car's just way too tight. He's losing a lot of speed right now. And I guess the big thing is can Elliott make it on one more stop? You would think, again, that Harvick and Elliott should be able to. It's going to be hard for Harvick to try to short pit in any way. To be able to make a comeback to win this race. Got to be losing so much time to Chase right now, too. Best thing for Harvick, I guess, is that it turns into a fuel mileage race. That and/or Elliott gets held up by just enough hot traffic again.
Got one right. All clear.
As soon as Harvick believes he's within the window to make it on field to the end, I think he has to pit. Hungry One, thanks for tuning in. Almost a 50 to go. Gonna take another round and a half of wedge out of the race car on Kevin Harvick's car. Massive adjustment, and the first time he's going to make an adjustment since the very first stop of the day, all the way back at lap 29 in stage 1. Desperate times call for desperate measures, and with a spot of the championship 4 on the line, Harvick's willing to risk it. Try to free this car up as much as he can with how tight it is center off. We have to consider downshifting for the rest of this run in the corners with how much he's having to back it up right now with 5th gear. Yep. Give us a little bit more grip. Maybe a better launch. Picked up about 1/10 of a second from the lap before by shifting, so definitely made it a little bit quicker. Oh, man, still tight off turn 4. Even with the downshift that time. Oh my gosh. It looked like me earlier. Kind of flatlining into the corner and then getting crowded by the car on top. I have an excuse. I don't have a rearview mirror. Maybe the rest of the game, maybe that's why AI race like they do. Maybe they don't have a rearview mirror either. I mean, they still do it though, even when they're in front of you or behind you. So that has nothing to do with a rearview mirror. .47 laps to go at the start-finish line this time by. Chase Elliott not in the pits yet, neither is Kevin Harvick. Briscoe blows by his teammate Kevin Harvick there. Inside lane through turns 1 and 2. Elliott really has to be opening that lead up big time on Kevin Harvick right now. All the cars that have passed us, I think Corey LaJoie's been stuck behind us the entire time.
We'll be pitting in about 5 laps.
Have to be pretty close within the window to be able to make it on field to the end of the race now.
1 lap.
About 44 to go, and they come out of the pits this time by, so Kevin Harvick is going to hit pit road for the final time. He has to check up a little bit into turns 3 and 4 there, but Harvick will be on his way to pit road. He believes he is going to be good on field to the end from here. And so he is in. 4 tires and fuel for the number 4. This is the money stop. Hoping Chase Elliott stays out for like 5 to 10 more laps. I don't think that'll be the case, but I'm hoping. Still scored in second, passing the start-finish line. Harvick will be a lap down. Needs this to cycle all the way through.
All right, top 5. Here we go.
Not really going to know when Elliott pits unless we see him.
Good progress so far. Keep moving forward. That's a good job.
I shifted a little early there.
You're in the top 5 in that. Got one right. Clear, clear.
And another round and a half of wedge came out of the car there for Harvick. Really trying to loosen this bad boy up to the end of the race. He's going to have to go further on tires than what he has really gone all day. Hamlin second, Logano third, Bell fourth. Elliott right behind him in the 9. So Harvick is 1 lap down barely, but almost 2 down. To make up a lot of time. Harvick can pit at really any given lap. Just enough room off of turn 4, but contact with Logano going to slow the 4 up. Now they're blocking the bottom. Took a whole half a lap to get by Logano and Hamlin extra with the contact with Logano off turn 4 on the outside. Harvick back into second. Full lap off the lead. He'll get his lap back once Elliott pits. Really grips up a lot better in turns 3 and 4 than it did before. 30.927 that last lap. Harvick can get through lap traffic much quicker than Chase Elliott. That's the only thing that can get him back into the race. Top of the fact he's gaining a little bit of that time back on the fresher tires right now, but he was quite a bit behind Elliott. I have to imagine Elliott's pit crew is quicker than the 4's as well.
Clear, clear.
I hadn't really looked at pit road the last few laps until that lap. I didn't see anybody in the pits. Turning dark in Las Vegas. Yeah, I had overcast skies on at the start. It definitely seems like it has gotten much darker. I swear, if we have a lights glitch in a race that we're not supposed to have the lights on, and that costs us, that's gonna be very upsetting. Especially at this juncture of the season. We could just get a win. We won't have to worry about Homestead being an unknown with not racing at that track in this game yet. Won't have to worry about the penultimate race at Martinsville. Do what Joey Logano did, and that is win at Las Vegas, get that early lock, and help Logano win the championship in 2022. We'll see if we can get Harvick this 2022 title as well, doing the same thing. Contact with Suarez off turn 4, holding up the 4 just a tad. Gonna be a light glitch. Well, don't say that. We gotta stay positive here. Gotta believe that we're not gonna get one. I could say I'll be prepared for it, but it really doesn't mean anything. Considering the fact that it's just pure randomness of where it happens on the track, and really, unless it happens on the back straightaway, I'm probably gonna slam the wall or wreck or something. Wish it would cause other drivers to do that. That's not the case. Austin Cindric right there. What a squeeze by Harvick. 3 wide underneath Cindric and Hesmans. It just had enough room to make the corner. Tell Harvick doesn't want to have to lift any extra. Trying to get by everybody as quickly as he can. Not giving up on trying to run down Chase Elliott to win this race. Elliott's car is faster. All in who gets through the lap traffic quicker before everybody else has to hit pit road. Elliott and Harvick going to be good to the end. Large, long, single file line right in front of Harvick right now. Harvick should get by the 62 with no contact into 1 and 2 this time. That is the case. Side by side up in front of the 4 between Michael McDowell, Ty Dillon. Will Joyce sliding around right in front of him. Almost made contact with the 42 car of Dillon. That was pretty close. Harvick going to go up the middle here. 3 wide. Clears them all into turns 3 and 4. Needed that. And a couple cars pitting off turn 4 this time. Oh, we got a crash on the front stretch. No! Harvick just couldn't get to the line in time. Oh, 2 cars got together there. And Harvick was a second or 2 away from hitting the start-finish line, which would have kept him on the same lap as Elliott, but instead, the caution flag came out just a couple seconds, or maybe like 1 to 2 seconds early. And now Harvick going to have to pit just to take on some sort of fresh tires here. He missed the accident, but unfortunately, is going to be scored a lap down, and not because he was actually a lap down, but unfortunately due to a scoring glitch is the reason why he'll be a lap down this time. You hate to see it. We're going to restart with about 30 laps to go. 2-car crash off turn 4. Couldn't tell who exactly it was. Looked like maybe Michael McDowell and somebody else. Pace car's still on pit road even though the caution's out. But Elliott will definitely be the leader. Harvick's still, going to be in second. But man, that's tough. You hate to see what is looking like a good finish. And it's not over, but you hate to see what was shaping up to be a good finish have something like that happen, which scoring error causes all but the race leader to be a lap down now. You have a lot of cars on pit road. There's a chance that Harvick should cycle pretty well. The problem is, though, because he's a lap down on Elliott, he's going to have to get a caution at a time where he's just on the other side of the start-finish line, and Chase Elliott is on the back side of it for him to get back on the lead lap, unfortunately. Harvick will have slightly fresher tires than the 9, which will help. We got more cars pitting well after the caution. And now we've got Justin Haley spinning under caution. Oh my gosh. There's Elliott. We just passed him. Too bad that doesn't mean we're back on the lead lap. I wish it did. Give us our lap back. We're ahead of the 9. If only that counts. Somehow Larson's in second now. I didn't think we were on the same lap. R6, welcome into the stream. It wasn't with the light glitch. There was no light glitch involved. It was just the scoring glitch that trapped us a lap down, unfortunately. It looks like we're going to restart about 4th or 5th. This is not good. That means all these drivers are one lap down that Harvick is racing with at the back of the pack. Green flag back in the air. And Harvick needs to get by these guys as quickly as he can. Major checkup. Getting into 3 and 4. We're going to have more cars pitting off of turn 4 this time. That's going to cause maybe another caution. Yep, that's going to be another wreck. Now we're 2 laps down. We are 2 laps down now. That is unbelievable. Unless Elliott didn't cross the line that time. There's no way. I mean, we're still back in the pack. We went from being on the lead lap, contending for the win with about 30 to go, to having 2 cautions back-to-back, which caused us to lose not just 1 but 2 laps because of a scoring glitch. And now we're not even in 2nd anymore, we're in 4th. And I don't even know if we can get up to 2nd place even before the end of this race, unfortunately. Now Harvick has fresher tires than the race leader. Yeah, we got some cars pitting off turn 4 again here. Expected it right at the last second. Stenhouse is in 3rd. This will be a pass. That is for position. So Harvick is back into P3. Larson's 2nd. Elliott is the leader. You gotta believe Harvick is 2 laps down. Should be able to make up 1 lap on these guys up here, but he is not gonna make them both up. Chase Elliott trying to hold on to win. That would lock himself into the championship 4. This one's going to be hard to swallow for Harvick. Didn't really make a mistake of his own. Didn't make a mistake back in stage 1 by taking the 2-stop strategy. That ended up putting us a lap down at the end of the stage. But we got it back by the end of stage 2. We were right back to square 1 at this stage. It stinks to have those cautions when we did. If we would have just had that caution come out moments later, like the second to last caution we had, if it would have came out 2 seconds later, we would have been on the same lap as Chase Elliott. And instead, we got put a lap down, which then when we had the next caution off the restart, we were so far back in the pack with pitting that sure I could have stayed out, but I wouldn't have known that we were going to get a caution. Our best chance was to pit and try to make up that full lap on Elliott with the fresher tires, and we had a caution that came out just too soon for us to do anything. Kurt Busch is wrecked on pit road, by the way. It's like in that first or second stall right at the entrance of pit road. There's a caution again. Caution flag is out again. See, this is even more interesting because Harvick could take fresher tires, but he's going to have to restart at the tail end of the field if he doesn't, so he's going to stay out. Restart up with the leaders. Green flag back in the air with about 10 laps to go at Vegas. It's probably his best shot to get to second place, Kyle Larson. Driver's on fresh tires right behind him. Got around him on the inside initially here on this restart. Into turns 3 and 4, got a little bit of checking up going on. Harvick to the outside, Timmy Hill holding up Kyle Larson. Harvick gets by the 5 car who is in second, but Harvick not in the same lap. I'm thinking Larson's 1 lap down behind Elliott, and we're 2 laps down behind the 9. Caution again. Same lap as the 9, but the caution flag is out. We're running out of restarts here. So, yeah, Larson's got to be a lap behind Elliott. Green flag back in the air. We're in not quite overtime. I do think it is a green-white checker, though. Elliott got a great launch there on the restart. Can't say the same for the car that was lined up on the inside of him. I think it was William Byron in the 24. 3 late yellows in this one. Actually, 4 late cautions. Harvick with fresher tires and Chase should be able to try to get by him here. This is likely the final lap. Kyle Larson, I guess it was just a 1-lap overtime. What? A 1-lap overtime finish. That doesn't make any sense. Oh, you know what? I think the caution came out. That's what happened. And we finished 3 laps down because that caution on the final lap of the race put us another lap down. I think Elliott got to the line. Yeah, Elliott just got to the line. Caution came out. So we lost an extra lap with the caution coming out in the final lap of the race. We lost 3 laps due to scoring glitches in the last 30 laps of the race. We were on the lead lap racing Chase Elliott for the win. We were 2 seconds away from being on the right side of the start-finish line of a caution coming out. Elliott had us a lap down because of that. Then another lap down. Then another lap down on the final lap. That is ridiculous. And we didn't even get second either. We finished 3rd because Larson ended up somehow only losing 1 lap during all that instead of 3 like I did. There was a big wreck off turn 4 back there. I lost count of how many cautions we had in this race. I think we had 6, and then we had 4 in the late going, and then that overtime finish there, which we ended up having 1. So we had 5 cautions in the final 30 laps, and I lost 3 laps in those 5 yellows. 11 cautions total. Pump on purpose. Matt Reel, thanks for tuning in. See you guys in the chat. Well, we'll take a look at the finishing results here today. Chase Elliott gets the win. That will lock Chase Elliott into the championship 4 at Phoenix. He'll be the first driver locked in. Kyle Larson ends up 2nd. Kevin Harvick with a solid points day finishing in 3rd. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. with a great top 5 run in 4th. And Christopher Bell rounds out the top 5. He won a stage as well. Good points day for him to start this round of the playoffs. Austin Dillon finishes 6th. Denny Hamlin 7th. Playoff drivers Joey Logano, Ross Chastain, and Martin Truex Jr. finished 8th, 9th, and 10th. Good finishes for those guys. No stage points for Truex or Chastain, but they did get top 10s, and Logano scored quite a few stage points and got a top 10. Austin Cindric just outside the top 10, finishes in 12th in the playoffs. The only other playoff driver to finish outside the top 10 other than Cindric in 12th, if I'm not mistaken, would have been William Byron in 17th, and that would have been it. So pretty good runs. I mean, 12th or better for 7 of the 8 playoff drivers. 6 of them get top 10s. It's a strong start, definitely, for those guys in the round of 8. Red Wolf 1, thanks for tuning in. How do you play championship with the new cars? I just keep track of points myself, so all the points you see at the top of the screen, I'll have that updated before the next race on Friday. Tomorrow night, we'll be doing a Busch Light Clash Throwback Thursday. You can vote in the community tab for which Busch Light Clash you want me to watch tomorrow. We'll watch it as a group, collectively. That'll start at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow evening. Hope to see you guys for that. The voting poll is between 2001, 2005, 2010, 2011, and 2012 are the 5 Busch Clash races that we can watch on the Daytona Oval, getting us geared up for this weekend's Busch Clash at the LA Coliseum. So we'll be doing live commentary for that. Again, for those of you that don't know, that will start at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday, where we will do live commentary, or I will do live commentary, I should say, for the heat races and the LCQ, Last Chance Qualifier, and then we'll end that stream when the LCQ is done. We'll have about an hour break, come back for the main event. We'll live stream that as well. So it'll be our first live commentary stream of the 2023 NASCAR season. I'll see you guys then. Thanks for watching. Well, I'll see you guys tomorrow night, actually. But thanks for watching, and have a good rest of your Wednesday evening, everybody.